So VTDocs comes with a heavy amount of AI. But before we kind of get into the ins and outs of AI and generative AI and all that kind of good stuff, let's actually look at the business and what happens today when you're reviewing multiple docs. Today, business analysts and project managers and analysts generally will look at docs and they'll look for important requirements. They'll determine dependencies kind of within the doc. Maybe paragraph 3 is interdependent with paragraph 52, and that's like on page 19. And they'll try and figure out kind of those linkages. And that's both within docs and also across docs. So these could be anything from, standard operating procedures where we've got a policy around X and that relates to Y somewhere else, either within or outside of this doc, terms and conditions, supplier agreements. And what happens today is that the analyst will typically open the doc. They'll read from page 1, typically right to the end of the doc. They'll note any requirements or elements of interest, and they'll use a liberal dose of search, Control F. So they're looking for things like indemnify or indemnifications, noting down any observations or any commentary. So it's a very time-consuming process, and it's also not that repeatable. For experienced people, of course, they know what they're looking for. So they can kind of Control F their way through docs fairly quickly. But for people who are a little bit more junior or somebody who's newer to the business, this might take a lot more time, and they also might miss key items. They might miss that one reference to indemnification on page 302. So how does the AI component of VTDocs help this whole problem? It takes a very different approach. You can upload multiple docs into a folder in VTDocs, and you will immediately see through AI the common themes of all these docs side by side. So it's kind of a matrix, if you will. Each column refers to each doc, and then on the left, the thematic frequency is broken out. So now I might see I've got 15 references to indemnify, and it's occurring in doc 1, 5, and 10. So it's almost like this heat map of occurrences. The beauty of this is that there's no prep work involved. It's automatically being generated. We use an AI model that's trained on business and technical communication. And the great thing about that is that there's no hallucination involved here. AI runs accurately and well in the context of VTDocs. It does not use generative AI. It uses AI that actually is traceable back to the exact text. And that's a really important thing because accuracy in this context is a must. It's a big deal. And the final piece about this, and it's one of the issues with generative AI in general, is that you must be able to run this in lockdown, secure environments. And the AI within VTDocs does exactly that. It's completely isolated, no data leakage, and no learning of your data.